So the weather's terrible. You don't want to go outside, but you still want to work on some projects and make some things. Have I got a solution for you? -6, Caldwell First Nation. Thank you for the valve cover. So if this looks confusing to you, don't worry, it's confusing to me as well. Looks like a bag of wieners right now. I made my way to the dollar store because it is raining, snowing, and blowing. Raining, snowing, and blowing. What is it doing? Is it raining, snowing, or blowing? Anyway, it's miserable outside. I don't want to be there. So I wanted an indoor project today, so I made my hoo-hoo boy. Hey y'all, welcome back to a summer-like day here in southwestern Ontario. It is only -6. The other day it was -18. Have a look. Yep. -18. I don't really have a plan for today, so I'm not sure what's going on, but I do know I woke up this morning, price of gas was $1.55 a liter. Talk about a kick in the behind with that one. Not sure what the reason for that is, but it is. So we made our trip 20 minutes to the west to the Caldwell First Nations gas station right here in Leamington, Ontario. Why? Because gas is $1.36 a liter here. I'm not going to give money away if I ain't gotta. We just filled up, plus 2 jerry cans, 5-gallon jerry cans. Cost me $163. 20 minutes west of here, that's probably well over $200. Don't get it. But we are filled up and it's time to head back home. Maybe by the time I get home we'll have a plan. Not likely. Alright, we are back from getting fuel, and I got a project I got to get started here. But, well, when it's -18 and you happen to be working on something, you just find a clear spot on the bench and throw the tool there, and then it is what it is. A couple things over Christmas. I got the box from the engine stand in here. 5-gallon pails of used oil. It's time to get cleaned up. Y'all see me do this a million times. Don't think you want to watch it again. So let me get this thing straightened up, and then we'll get to the project. Well, we are sort of cleaned up. You can see the bench again. But what I did do to try and help stay organized was I put a bench. That's not a bench, dummy. It's a shelf. I put a shelf up here. Oh, by the way, Fat Guy Racing, Mike Lewis, thank you for the valve covers. I appreciate that very much. We're going to be doing something with that in the future. I can't let that out just yet. But we got a nice heavy-duty shelf here. My plan is to take this mess, because I've got a couple of these sanders here and a bench grinder, and I want to put them all up here. So if I need something, I can just take it off and put it over here. Speaking of which, here's today's project. I'm going to try and make another hatch. You know, I made a couple. There's a couple back on the wall over. I'm pointing the camera up in the corner, but my finger's over here. There's a couple over there that I made, and I kind of like doing it. If this confuses you, don't worry. It confuses me too, because I've already cut this here out. That's not quite what I want. I want to try something a little different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a series. No, I'm going to make a series of cuts. All the way up to this line, all the way along. Then I'll make a cut going across as best I can to cut most of it out. And I got a drum sander that I'll put it on to try and get that smoothed out a little bit. But it's raining outside. Yeah, it's snowing, raining, it's doing whatever it is. So I'm going to go outside to cut this, because obviously I got wooden floors. I'll cut this, show you about halfway through, and we'll come back into shaping this a little more. We're making some headway. After that cutting, I know it looks like a bag of wieners right now, but you know, give me a minute. We're going to go clean this up with a flapper disc, and then we're going to put it on a drum sander and see if we can make it look a little better than what it does. Pretty sure we can. I'm not pushing real hard. I'm just letting the belt sander do it on its own. we're going to switch sanders. Now we got our drum sander. Hopefully we can get a little more precise. It's working. Well, there you are. It's working. We just got to get a little more of an arc in here. Not the most aggressive piece of sandpaper I got here, but we'll make it work. I'll get back to you when I get just about done. What I'm trying to do is get these sides even. Here, I'll show you. You can see, maybe you can see, hopefully you can. The side over here is where I'm taking the material from. Trying to keep the file straight. Once I get into this side over here while keeping the file straight, it's going to tell me it's pretty close to even. Pretty close. We're just going for pretty close. Get you back up here. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, we've come all the way across now. We'll go back on the drum sander and clean that edge up a little bit. See, we've come all the way across here. Show you as I'm going here. Hopefully you can see that. In the previous clip, this was extremely rough, and I was using a pretty aggressive file, which brought this down flat. So now what I got to do is I got to get those scrape marks out. Stand up here. I got to get the marks out left by the file and try and get somewhat of a finishing edge. This is not going to be the finished edge. Obviously, I'm going to sand it down and polish it up and make it look pretty, but or I might make it look old because it does kind of look like it's not from this time. Let's not forget, it needs a handle, so we're going to have to do that too. Now, when I get this profile the way I want it, I'm going to come back with a less aggressive file, and I'm just going to bevel the edge all the way around. I debated whether to put an edge on the inside here, right up in here, just this last 1 inch, put an edge on it, but I decided against it. Back end here needs a little bit of work. I think it's coming along pretty good. We're just about there. I think maybe I'll clean everything up a little bit. I think we got the profile where we want it. That's a pretty nice, you can almost see it there. That's a pretty nice arc there. I have to work on the handle here in a minute. This is a regular hickory store-bought handle. Got it fitting where we want it, right about there. It's still got the split, but look at the gap in the top. We're going to have to work on that gap just a little bit. Now, obviously, with this type of head, the handle's not, you know, time period with the head. Time period? Time period. Period? Period correct. There we go. Just give me a minute. The handle is not period correct with the head. So, now that we got it fitting where we want it, I'm going to do something with this. All right. We basically got rid of the shoulder here. Oh, there you are. Basically got rid of the shoulder. Took out some of the grip. We've straightened out the handle a little bit, and now I'm going to cut this end off, probably down about here. Yeah. Got a little bit of gouging right in here. We got some spacing in here. Front's not too bad, but I think the head needs to come down a little bit more. Still got that spacing at the top here too, though. Alright, so we got it down now. You see we got the head crooked. So that's where the head's going to lock in at, right there. I think what I'm going to do is burn and oil the entire handle. No real secret to this. Just try and burn it evenly and bring the grain out. Now this is not sanded perfectly, and I didn't want it sanded perfectly. Remember, the idea here is to make it look old and weathered. Alright, we got the burn on here. Gotta make sure you touch it with your sawdust covered glove. That way you can't really see the burn. You also want to grab a dirty rag off of the floor to kind of wipe it off with too. Anyway, there's the handle. Now the burning also protects the wood a little bit. But the reason I think this is not hickory is this is starting to char up. Right in here. I don't know if you can see that or if it shows up on camera, but I can see where it started to char up. Never had hickory do that before. Which means I don't think this is hickory. And here's what we got. This is exactly what I was going for. This is a traditional handle. Cut the bottom off it, shortened it up a little bit, took the shoulder off the back here. Kind of straightened this out a little bit. Now, we're going to make this head old. I have to do a little research before I get to that, but we're just about done here. Sorry guys, battery died in the GoPro. While I was down though, I did went ahead and made a couple of changes. So the handle was coming way out to here and it just kind of looked funny or odd. So I straightened this out a little bit on the sander, reburned it. The head is fitted on there, but again, we still got that gap down there, and we still got a gap at the top. The only thing left to do really is to glue and put the wedge in. Guys, I'm not chopping trees down with this thing, and I'm actually probably going to hang on a wall and never get used. So, is it going to break off? It might. Is it going to really lose its edge? Probably. In fact, I'm probably not going to put an edge on there because I'm not going to use it. But it's just to hang on a wall. It just goes to show you that you can take a $5 hatchet from the dollar store and make something that looks a whole lot cooler. Somebody will lose an eye with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to oil up the handle and see how that looks. I already know it's going to look good. And again, I'm going to use some 5W20 used motor oil so that we can seal this handle. And we might call it done. Now I'm pretty sure I got a little bit of oil here somewhere. Yep, that's pail number 2. At the risk of me wearing it or getting it all over the floor, I'm going to put you guys over here and then I'll get it out. Probably going to wear it anyways. There we go. Alright, what do we got here? Here we go. Not only does it look good, it smells good. Yeah, you got to make sure that you lay it down in the sawdust too so that you pick it up on the wet oil. You big dummy. Bottom. Alright. Wipe off the excess. And there it is. One $5 hatchet. It looks better than the way it started. So I don't have a wedge for it right now, which I'll just pound the wedge in later on and then burn the top of that and put some oil on it. And then that should keep the head from falling off until the first time you hit something, and then yeah, it might fall off, but it is what it is. But again, you take a $5 dollar store axe. That's a bit of a contradiction in terms, is it not? A $5 dollar store axe. You go from this to this with a little bit of sanding and a little bit of grinding and a little bit of cutting. Anyway, that's all I got for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed that. Like I said, the weather is terrible. I don't want to go outside, so thought we'd put together a little shop project. I'll see you all in the next one. Later. After that cutting, I know it looks like a bag of wieners right now, but you know, give me a minute.